Hi, welcome to lesson 5.3, writing proportions. So we've talked a lot about proportions. We've talked about ratios, we've talked about whether or not ratios were equal to each other and thus forming a proportion. We graphed them and checked to see whether or not they were proportional. Now we're actually going to write them. And one way to write a proportion is to use a table. So this table here compares ringtones to how much money it costs. So last month you bought 2 ringtones for $6. And this month you bought 3 ringtones for, well, we don't know how much money. And all we're going to do is write the proportion. We're not actually going to solve it, we're just going to write it. And there's 2 ways of doing this. One is to use the columns of the table. And I'm going to write on the table, because this is how you use the columns, is I can draw a line there. That is proportion, so this is one ratio equal to the other ratio. So when I write this, it looks like this. 2 ringtones to $6 is equal to 3 ringtones to X amount of dollars. And we need to keep this consistent. This ratio talks about this month, last month, and this ratio talks about this month. Ringtone to ringtone, dollar to dollar. As long as it's consistent, then it's good. We can also kind of check it by saying, looking at the cross product, 2x is equal to 18. Well, let's see how to do it with rows. So we can also use rows. Again, we need to be consistent. In this case, we're going to compare 2 ringtones to 3 ringtones and $6 to an unknown amount of dollars. So we have 2 ringtones to 3 ringtones. That is equal to $6 to X amount of dollars. Again, this is consistent. We're comparing ringtone to ringtone, last month to this month. Same over here, ringtone to ringtone, dollar to dollar, and last month to this month. And we can kind of check it again. If we do the cross product, we get 2x is equal to 18. So we can tell that those are actually the same proportions. So that's 2 different ways to write proportions using a table. So let's use an example. A chef increases the amount of ingredients in a recipe to make a proportional recipe. The new recipe has 6 cups of black beans. So here's the original recipe, and here's the new recipe. Has 6 cups of black beans. Write a proportion that gives the number X of tomatoes in the new recipe. So he has this original recipe, decides that he has 6 cups of black beans, and wants to make something that's proportional to the 6 cups. So he has to figure out how many tomatoes he needs. So I'm going to do this by saying, all right, I'm going to 5 cups of black beans. I'm going to use the column method. I see, you just draw it right like that. So 1.5 cups to 1 tomato is equal to 6 cups of X tomatoes. And that's how you can write a proportion for this using the column method. On your own, it wants you to write a different proportion, and then it wants you to also write a proportion to figure out how much water you would actually need. So pause me and let's see how we'd write these. Okay, welcome back. So it wants you to write a different proportion for this. Well, we'll use the row method. In this case, we're going to compare 1.5 cups of black beans to 6 cups of black beans. And that is equal to 1 tomato over X amount of tomatoes. And we kind of know this is right because we get 1.5x here is equal to 6. Same with that. So we know that those are the similar proportions. All right, we're going to write a proportion that gives the amount of water in this new recipe. So if I add another row here for water, and in the original recipe, water was 2 cups, and now it's Y in the new recipe. So the original recipe, 2 cups Y. Well, I can use the black bean ratio again and say 1.5 cups of black beans to 2 cups of water is equal to, well, we're comparing black beans to water. So in the new recipe, we have 6 cups of black beans, and we don't know how many tomatoes. So that's how we would write it. Okay, let's move on to the next page. So now we're going to solve proportions, and I know we talked a lot about cross multiplication, and you can kind of, if you looked at that, you could sort of figure out how to solve for x. In this case, we're going to use mental math. So in example we're going to start up here. In this example, we're going to solve 3 halves is equal to x over 8. So if I have 3 halves and it's equal to x over 8, what times 2 is equal to 8? Well, that's multiplied by 4. So in this case, I would also have to multiply by 4 up there. So x is equal to 12. Same thing here. 1.5 over 1 is equal to 6 for x. And multiply from there to there. It's actually, I believe it's still 4. Yep, you multiply by 4 to get 6. So I need to multiply by 4 on the bottom. So x is equal to 4, because 1 times 4 is 4. So that's how many tomatoes you would need in the new recipe. Okay, why don't you try these on your own and see what you get. Just pause me and then come back. Okay, in 3, 5 to get to 5 to 20, again we'd multiply by 4. They seem to be really happy with that. Multiply by 4, so D is equal to, what did I do? Sorry guys, I seem to have messed this up. Let's look at that again. No, I was right. In order to get from 5 to 20, you'd have to multiply by 4. In this case, you have to multiply by 4, so D is equal to 24. Did it wrong on my notes. Oh, not 24, 32. Yikes. 32. What happened to my math skills? All right. To go now, this way you're going back from to go from 14 to 7. You would have to divide by 2. So you're going to have to divide by 2 here, and Z would equal 5. Okay, if you go from 24 to 18, you're going down. So again, you're going to divide, and you're going to divide by 3. So you have to divide by 3 here. X is equal to 7. Remember, you have to think about this as going from the thing that you know to the thing that you don't know. All right. So if a school has 900 students, the ratio to female to male students is 48 to 95. So this is female to all students. I'm going to write the ratio. It has a total of 950. So how many female students does it really have? Well, 95 times 10 is equal to 950, so x must equal 480 because you took the 4 and you multiplied it by 10. So thanks for watching.